Hello and welcome to Odd Sock Comics. Today I'm going to do a quick video based on a few things that I saw a couple of other comic book YouTubers do, and I liked the idea, so I thought that I'd do it as soon as possible. So what I've done here is I've created a list of the 10 books that I'm going to try to obtain this year. So I'm calling this my 2019 comic book goals. And I've written them down on this this backer board that I'm going to stick up on the front of one of my my long boxes, and I'm going to keep that list front and center all the time so that it keeps me kind of focused on what I'm going to be buying this year. I think it's a good idea for anybody who's starting a collection. Try to keep things a little bit focused and keep your mind in the right direction so that you know what you intend to do and you can see if your collection is going in the direction you want or not. So first of all, I'm still fairly new to this comic book collecting thing, so I'm not after the Silver Age grails that a lot of people are. These books are particular to me and my collection. I'm intending to pay basically market price. I'm not trying to speculate. I'm not trying to get an outrageous deal, though I will. I'm trying to get slightly under what the current market rate is, but nothing obscene. Just keeping an eye out for opportunities when they come up. But all right, let's get into it. Starting with number 10. And these are basically in the order from the most important to pick up will be number 1, and the kind of the last one that I'll get if the timing is right and the price is right is number 10. So first up I have Hulk number 180. Now, for most people Hulk 181 is the grail, and that would be the grail to me, but that's a little bit outside of my price target. In my entire collection, the most valuable book I've got is worth about $300. So for me to go much over that right now is feeling really intimidating. However, Hulk 181, the first appearance of Wolverine. Hulk 180 is the first cameo appearance of Wolverine. Considering how important Wolverine was in the 1990s, the time that I was growing up with comic books, mostly actually with comic TV shows and things like that, this would really be a piece that would add to my collection, that I would enjoy having this piece of Wolverine history. So Hulk number 180, that's my first, it's my number 10 on my list to get this year. All right, number 9 is Secret Wars number 8, and I might as well move up here to number 8, is Amazing Spider-Man number 252. So these are both the origin and the first appearance of Spider-Man in his black suit, that black suit that ends up being Venom. And because of how important Venom was in the 90s, same kind of deal, getting some of that origin and that initial stories is going to be a good addition to my collection. They're things that I would really value and hold on to. All right, on to number 7. Number 7 is Jimmy Olsen, number 134. Now this one's a little bit older, but it's the first, actually I honestly don't know how old it is, but it is the first appearance of Darkseid. And I think it's in the 70s. And the reason that that one is important to me is during the 90s, Darkseid was the ultimate bad guy in the DC universe. And so it really stood out to me, and he's one of those bad guys that I really want that first appearance. It makes sense to me to have that piece as a part of the collection. Along with this, I might consider Forever People number 1. That's his first appearance as well. I'm not sure exactly the relationship between these two books, but I'd consider either one, more focused on Jimmy Olsen number 134. Next up I have Marvel Spotlight number 5. Now this one I think is kind of a grail. This is the first appearance of Ghost Rider. And I mean, Ghost Rider was just the absolute coolest character growing up. I love everything about Ghost Rider. I've got Ghost Rider covers just because I love the look of Ghost Rider. It's just the coolest character possible. It's too bad that they haven't done something amazing with Ghost Rider in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I would love to see that. But for now, I would be very happy to have the first appearance of Ghost Rider. That's a more expensive book. I'm probably going to have to get it raw, and it's probably going to be still very expensive, but I'm going to be keeping my eye out for that one throughout the year. Probably look for it earlier rather than later, just because I think that that's a book that's probably the value is going to go up, and it might be more expensive at the end of the year than right now. All right, number 5 is Amazing Spider-Man number 300. Now, this is the first appearance of Venom, of course, and it's a book that a lot of people have. It's not a rare book by any means, but it's something that I definitely want to be a part of my collection, along with those first Black Suits, numbers 8 and 9 in this list. Now, this book has a huge range of values. I think that just based on kind of where I'm comfortable buying books, buying it at about the $300 range is about right for me. That seems to be about an 8.0 right now, which is just fine. You know, that's something that I could upgrade in the future, or I may just be happy with an 8.0. But for now, I just want to have a piece of that in my collection. All right, moving up to number 4. This is not an expensive book, not a difficult book to find, but I definitely want it. It's She-Hulk number 1. And this is the first appearance of She-Hulk. And this is an interesting book because it goes along with a lot of the rest of my collection. You know, I kind of lucked into a couple of these 1970s, 1980s first appearances of female characters. And I really like the way that it represents how comic books have always been diverse. There's not a diversity problem with comic books. Back in the 70s and 80s, they introduced these characters and kind of let them thrive on their own. They weren't taking the place of major characters, which is what they attempted to do more recently. And with this incarnation, there are some really fun characters that came out, and She-Hulk is one of the few that I'm missing here, and I think that it would make a great addition to my collection. All right, now the next 3 are all specific to my collection. These are all Art Germ books, and they're the last pieces that I need to really feel like my Art Germ collection is complete. So the first one is Grimm Fairy Tales Presents Wonderland, number 25. And this is one that I could buy today for, I'd probably have to pay $15 to get it shipped. But it's not a scarce book. It's not difficult to find online. However, I found every other cover in the wild, and my goal and kind of what's driving my hunt as I go into comic shops around the country as I travel is I want to find this book in the wild. That would be a lot of fun. And if I find it in the wild, it ought to be close to cover price. It might be $5, it might be $10. I'll buy it at whatever price I find it. Unless they're asking like $20, that would be ridiculous because I can buy it online for that price. But this is my goal, to find this book in the wild. That's going to keep me hunting. That's going to keep me digging through those boxes and seeing what I can find. So, cheap book, but it's one that I'm missing, and it's one of 2 Art Germ books that I don't have some version of. All right, the next one, this one's a lot harder to get. This is Justice League Power Rangers, and this is I think it's Jetpack Comics and Forbidden Planet. They combined to do a retailer exclusive, and there are 3 versions of it. Now, I can go buy the sketch version online today. I think that Jetpack Comics still has it in stock, but I really want the color version of this, and it is just ridiculously hard to find. There's an auction that comes and goes, some guy in the UK that's trying to sell his set of 3, all 3 of the Art Germ covers for this, and I've been tempted to pick it up, but I've kind of determined that I'm only going to buy one of them. I made an offer on one a little while ago trying to see if I could get it, but these just don't show up very often. I've got a constant saved search on eBay. If anyone ever posts them, I find out pretty soon. And if they post them as a buy it now and the price is right, I'm going to do it because this one is just rare enough that it's hard to find. All right, and the final one, and this one is very relevant to today in particular for me. So this is Batgirl number 12. This is the Art Germ. It's the only version of the book possible, but it's the Art Germ cover. To me, this is the iconic Art Germ, and it's the one that kind of started my whole Art Germ collection, which is now almost a full long box long, and it just seems like this is the right book for me to get in that full-blown 9.8. Now, I actually bid on one of these tonight. I didn't win, unfortunately, but I keep trying to look for one that I can get in the right price range. It is difficult. It seems like they don't come on auction very often. There are only like 80 of them available in a 9.8. So it's not an easy book to get, but that's one that I'm hunting for. I'm going to pick it up as soon as possible. And I do have Batgirl 12. This will be an upgrade from the book that I have, but I really want this in a 9.8. So those are the 10 books that I'm going for in 2019. And again, I'm just going to stick this right in my right up in the lid of one of my long boxes that I don't get into very often, and keep it staring at me all day. So this is going to be one that I drive. Anytime I find one, of course, I'll share it with you guys with my comic book hauls. I might do a special video on these as I pick them up, because these are the important books to me this year. So that's my list for 2019. This has just been a quick video talking about my goals. And thank you for listening. If you happen to know of some of these that I might be able to get for a good deal, I've kind of given my price expectation, what I think the market is for them right now, over on the right. If you think you might know where I can find one in that price range, let me know. I'm always interested. I'm in the market for these. I think the total price here is what I'm expecting to spend on comic books this year. I have a plan to be able to do that. So this is a great option. If you have any information, I'd appreciate it. All right, thank you.